My name is Nolan Reynolds, and I'm a longtime Kitsap County resident, and I'm also a licensed real estate agent with Windermere Real Estate in Silverdale, Washington. Today, I want to go over what I think are the 5 best neighborhoods in Bremerton, Washington. Now, I can already hear some of my friends making a case for their neighborhood, and you could definitely make a case that some other neighborhoods are equally as nice, maybe even a little bit nicer depending on your preference, but these are my 5 favorite neighborhoods in Bremerton, Washington. If you're planning to buy or sell a home here in Bremerton, Kitsap County, or the surrounding areas, I can help you put together a great strategy to help you accomplish your home buying or home selling goals. Reach out to me directly anytime or click the link below to get more information. Okay, first on the list, we have Rocky Point and Marine Drive. Take a look at the map here. You can see right here, Rocky Point and Marine Drive. They land right here, these 2 little peninsulas that stick out into Dyes Inlet. So that's Kitsap Way that you see where the traffic is down below. And what's great about Rocky Point Marine Drive is that you are conveniently located to Kitsap Way, where there's all kinds of grocery stores, shopping, restaurants. But you're tucked away on these little peninsulas back in Dyes Inlet. Most of the homes were built between the 1940s and 1980s. So if you're looking for peaceful waterfront living with incredible views and a little bit larger lots, Rocky Point Marine Drive might be one of the best places in Bremerton for you. So one of the bigger advantages here on Rocky Point Marine Drive is that the lots are typically a little bit bigger, probably somewhere between 1/4 acre and 1/2 acre is fairly common, and some of your waterfront homes might sit on even larger parcels. And here's a look at Marine Drive, and then that's Rocky Point down here below on the right. So there's a little bay, we call it Mud Bay, that separates both Rocky Point and Marine Drive. Now there's a mixture of waterfront and non-waterfront homes here. The non-waterfront homes probably range from the high 400s to the high 500s. And if you're fortunate enough to be looking at one of the waterfront homes here, that's one of the premier areas in Bremerton, you could be looking at anywhere from $675 all the way up to a couple of million, maybe even beyond that. You're about a 10 to 15 minute drive to downtown Bremerton, to the ferry or Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, and probably maybe 15 to 20 minutes tops to get all the way out to Silverdale, where your main shopping hub is. And this here is taking a drive down Marine Drive itself to give you a little bit of a feel of some of the non-waterfront homes. Now, what I would call one of the downsides of Rocky Point and Marine Drive is that the actual streets themselves, Rocky Point and Marine Drive, are not great for walking. You will see a lot of people walking on the streets, and maybe it's just a personal preference, but there's not sidewalks, there's not a lot of space on the shoulder, as you can see, so it's a little bit snug for walking. Now there are neighborhoods and roads off of the main roads which are going to be great for walking, but if you're someone who likes to get out and walk and be able to have safe sidewalks, that's the one downside. And it's also not a walkable neighborhood if you'd like to walk to the grocery store or to shops or to restaurants. But that's about the only downside of Rocky Point and Marine Drive. If you're looking for a quiet, established neighborhood, or if you're looking for waterfront homes, this is going to be on the top of the list of places that you should consider. Okay, next up is going to be the Illahee neighborhood. And the Illahee neighborhood is pretty big, spans pretty far. So I would say most of us locals think that Illahee would start somewhere around here. This is going to be Sylvan and Trenton, this corner down here. And it's going to go all the way down here as you start to make this corner and heading towards Brownsville. So this whole area right here is what we would consider the Illahee neighborhood. And as you can see, the Illahee neighborhood is east facing. And as we look a little bit closer, we can see that the community is centered around Illahee State Park and the Illahee Preserve. And this is just a huge, thick forest. There's lots and lots and lots of great hiking, great trails, beautiful waterfront, all kinds of beautiful, beautiful scenery here in the Illahee Preserve and Illahee State Park and all throughout the Illahee neighborhood. So again, you've got a mixture of great waterfront homes, but you've also got your non-waterfront homes. And this is very similar to Rocky Point Marine Drive. Homes are built between the 40s and maybe the 70s. And the lot sizes are probably between 1/4 acre, maybe up to 3/4 of an acre. And this is taking a look here into just the thick, beautiful forest here of the Illahee Preserve, Illahee State Park. So you can see these neighborhoods are just surrounded by beautiful, lush, mature trees. These are 2 of my little secret favorite streets. Viewcrest and Ridge View. They have some beautiful east-facing views. Some homes you can see a little bit of downtown Seattle and Mount Rainier. And then here's taking a look at the Illahee State Park. Again, lots of mature trees, all kinds of great hiking trails if you like to do that. You see lots of people walking their dogs in there and enjoying themselves, enjoying the nature. And you can go all the way down to the end of the park and find yourself at the water with this beautiful dock. There's beach access. Be mindful of the tides. When the tide comes up, there will not be as much shoreline. And there's also great places for seating, for picnics, for just hanging out. And with Illahee being such a huge neighborhood, there are lots and lots of little streets off of the main Illahee Drive, and you'll find yourself in neighborhoods like this one. This is Fisher Park, and this is very, very representative of what you'll find all throughout Illahee. This is a lot of what the homes will be looking like in these Illahee neighborhoods. Home pricing is going to be similar to Rocky Point and Marine Drive. Non-waterfront homes, you're probably looking around the high 400s to high 500s. And then if you're on the waterfront, again, it could be $675, $1 million, $2 million, maybe even more for some of these really, really premium locations. The one downside about Illahee is it's not a walkable neighborhood. If that's what you're looking for, you won't be able to walk to shops and restaurants. Next up is going to be the Tracyton neighborhood. So we were just over here in Illahee, over on the east side of East Bremerton. This is going to be Tracyton, which is on the west side of East Bremerton. So in Tracyton is where you'll find those beautiful sunset and Olympic mountain views. And Tracyton is a little more centrally located. You're going to have easy access into East Bremerton, West Bremerton to the ferry, and you're also going to have this nice back route out to Silverdale where all your major shopping will be. Most of the homes here in Tracyton were built between the 1950s and 1980s, and there's a mixture of waterfront homes and those western view facing properties. And there's a lot of quiet residential streets here in Tracyton as well. Now for home prices, you would be able to find a standard 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 12 to 1500 square foot home without a view in one of these neighborhoods along the Tracyton area. Somewhere around the mid 400s would be on the lower end. And then of course, if you're looking for one of the premium views or even one of the waterfront properties, you could be looking all the way up to a couple of $1 million and anywhere in between. And here's a good wide view of central Tracyton. If we were to follow the water line up to the right there, that would take us back into Bremerton. And if we were to follow the water line down and to the left, that would be taking you towards Silverdale. There is a nice little public access point there in Tracyton that's popular. You'll see cars just parking there during sunset and just enjoying an incredible view, and that's looking out toward that view. Those are the Olympic mountains there that you see in the background. Tide's out a little bit here, but you've got a beautiful, beautiful water view watching the sunset over the Olympic mountains, a very quintessential northwest view. And there in central Tracyton, you do have the Tracyton Public House, serves great food, drinks, a very popular spot throughout the entire week. And you've also got yourself a little gas station, you've got a library, and there's a post office just down the way. So you do have a little bit of a small town there in Tracyton, but you're only a few minutes over the hill back into central East Bremerton. And this was just a beautiful shot I got there on the drone. This is looking back at Bremerton. You can see the Warren Avenue and Manette bridges, and then sun was setting on Mount Rainier, and that view just never gets old no matter how many times you see it. So of these 3 neighborhoods that we looked at, Tracyton has a little bit of walkability because you've got the Tracyton Public House if you were to live right there in central Tracyton. So this could be a good middle ground if you would like to have a little bit of a larger lot and have a few things within walking distance. Okay, next up is going to be Kitsap Lake. So let's take a look at what we've seen so far. We saw Rocky Point here, we saw Illahee here, Tracyton up here. So now we're making our way over into West Bremerton, and up the hill we find Kitsap Lake. So if you're looking for that lake lifestyle, Kitsap Lake has what you're looking for, and you're still very close into town, about a 10 to 15 minute drive down to the Bremerton ferry dock for reference. Homes around Kitsap Lake were mostly built between the 1940s and the 1980s. Lot sizes will be just a touch smaller than the other neighborhoods that we looked at, but like I say, this neighborhood is great if you like to do lake boating, lake kayaking, paddle boarding, or just enjoy the outdoors while still being just a few minutes from downtown Bremerton. So this is going to be over on the east side of the lake, and this is in a development called Dockside. This is where you'll find more of the homes that were built in the 80s and 90s. You've got both the lakefront homes with docks, and then you've got the lake view homes. All of these homes are on the larger side, 2,000 or 3,000 square feet, maybe even beyond that. And then looking over to the west side of the lake, that's where we'll find some of the older homes built in the 40s and 50s. Many of these started as cabins and were later expanded into full-time residences. And the pricing trend is similar here. For your standard 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in a non-view, non-lakefront area around the Kitsap Lake community, you could probably find something around the mid-400s. And then if you have a lake view or even lakefront property, you could be looking up into $1 million and beyond. And even if you're not a resident here in the Kitsap Lake community, you can still come and enjoy the recreation. There's a public park here. There's also a public dock where you can drop your boat, go out and enjoy yourself on the lake. And if you were to live up here on the north side of the lake in some of these homes here, you see we've got the garage bar and grill. There's also the Red Apple grocery store, and there's the Big Apple diner, and there's a few other little shops and restaurants as well. So if you lived here in this north area of the lake, you would have some restaurants and a grocery store within walking distance. Otherwise, you're looking at a short drive into Bremerton or about a 10 to 15 minute drive out to Silverdale. And full disclosure, this is my neighborhood, so this one is my favorite. And so Manette is going to be right in the Bremerton city limits, and it's just across the Manette Bridge, just on the east side of Bremerton, and it's this section right down in here. This is where we call Manette. Manette is one of Bremerton's oldest and most established neighborhoods. Most of the homes were built between 1910 and 1950. The lot sizes here are smaller compared to the other neighborhoods, so that's one drawback. Average lot sizes are probably somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 square feet, but the trade-off is going to be walkability. So if you like an older, established neighborhood with character and charm and restaurants and shops within walking distance, Manette will definitely be a neighborhood that you'll want to consider. So this is taking a look right downtown Manette, and you can see you've got public transit right there, and we've got lots of restaurants, lots of shops that you can come down and walk to and enjoy yourself. We've got the Hounded Bottle, we've got the Manette Saloon, so if that's your style, you can go down, have too many drinks, and walk yourself home safely. And this is a Thai restaurant, Khao Soi. You can see sits right on the water. There's the Manette Bridge. And then if we go over and down toward the water, we'll see the Boat Shed restaurant, which is really a local favorite. They have an outstanding waterfront deck where you can enjoy your lunch, dinner, and a beverage, sitting right on the water and enjoying beautiful views. This is a new spot that came in, Vim and Vigor, a little coffee shop with smoothies and some food. And across the street, you'll find another favorite, Larry and Christie's Bakery, and not to be forgotten, Saboteur Bakery just up the street. And here's looking right into the heart of Manette. As you can see, all the homes have their own unique character and charm, and Manette sits on a hill, so many homes have mountain views or water views or both. Even if you're up on the hill a ways, you'll be surprised that you've got views from both sides all over Manette. And here's an aerial look at downtown where you'll see some of those shops and restaurants that we looked at. And you've got a few different parks throughout Manette. That park that you see there, that's Manette Park, also the Bremerton Senior Center. And you've got a big open field, you've got tennis courts, you've got basketball courts, pickleball courts, playgrounds. So a great central hub for the community. And there is a bit of a range with home prices. A few homes recently over on Trenton sold for around $400,000. Those are 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom homes. It's more typical that the non-waterfront homes would go somewhere between $450,000 all the way up to $650,000. Then for some of the more premium homes on Lower Shore Drive or Upper Shore Drive, probably looking at $700,000 and above. And there you have my 5 favorite neighborhoods in Bremerton, Washington. Let me know what you think, or if you think that there's other neighborhoods that we should highlight next time.